The field is rolling as we welcome you to Atlanta Motor Speedway at Hampton, Georgia. Stop number 2 on the 28-race, $3 million ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series Tour. This 300-kilometer event, the APCO EasyCare 300. A lot of guys have won on the super speedways, but only 2 in today's field. 1995 winner Andy Hillenburg, only 2 drivers in the field, and of course Tim Steele, who won at Pocono and Talladega in 93, Pocono in 94, and won here in Atlanta in November of 1995. They call him the Man of Steel, but there may be a chink in Tim Steele's armor today. Right, Bill Weber?
You're right, Dr. Jerry Punch. The 28-year-old won 3 events on this series last season, but today he is suffering from kidney stones. They've been bothering him for several weeks now. He thought last night he was going to be okay. I talked to him just before the cars rolled off. He said those little kidney stones feel like a semi-truck inside of him. But what he's hoping is that once this rocket ship, the 16 car, takes off, we'll forget all about it. We'll see what happens. They do have a relief driver standing by, Jerry.
And Bill Weber, he spent 6 days in the hospital 2 weeks ago at Grand Rapids, Michigan. Has a stent, a small tube in place just below his kidney, so if the stone would move, the stone would pass through. But the pain is what he must endure today. Pain and speeds of 190+ miles an hour. Well, the weather here has been almost unbearable the past 3 or 4 days. That's why the field very unusual as far as the starters. But the weather could impact this race. For more, here's Kyle Petty.
I tell you what, it is so cold down here. If you could see the grandstands where the suites are, there's nobody sitting. They're all sitting out in the sunshine. The weather is going to be cold. I've been a crew member at races all my lifetime. I worked for my father. There's nothing worse than standing here in 30, 32, 33-degree weather, especially with the wind chill factor as cold as it is. But there's not a nicer place in the world than being out there in that race car. It's going to be 75 and sunny for these guys out there, so it's going to be really nice. The only problem is cold race tires. Cold race track, cold race tires. There could be problems on the starts, but these guys know how to take care of that, Ned.
And, Kyle, it is going to be interesting when we go into that first turn, Benny, because we've got a great mix there as a result of no qualifying.
I tell you what, they're starting by the owner points, 1995 owner points, and it really truly, Tim Steele is starting in the 11th spot, one of the fastest cars. The last year's champion, Andy Hillenburg, will stop back in, I think, 7th spot, because that's Kenny Schrader's car number that he's running this year. So, folks, we've got fast cars and slow cars mingle all through the field. And, Kyle, up in the booth, it's pretty nice and warm.
Okay, guys, it is about 75 degrees. Take a look at our Suzuki starting lineup. 33 cars will start, as you said, Benny and Ned. These cars starting by car owners points from a year ago. Bobby Boucher, 2-time series champion. His dad, Jack Boucher, was the car owner winner of the car owner points award last year. Boucher, a 14-time winner, but has never won on a super speedway. Rick Shepard, Bob Hill, Dill Whittemore, and Andy Hillenburg, last year's series champion. That's the top 15. Mark Thompson starts back in 14th spot. Watch for him to come in a hurry. Blaze Alexander, Brad Smith, looking through the field. Shane Doles. Yes, that is the Shane Doles from Daytona. And Shane, we got a great story about Shane for you. Got a sponsor and a brand new looking color scheme and even more pecan pie, as he will start back in 26th spot. 33rd starter is Gary Weinbroer. So that's a Suzuki starting grid for this 300-kilometer event, the APCO EasyCare 300. We'll come back with the drop of the green flag and stop number 2 in the 28-race, $3 million ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Tour. Our speed road coverage of the APCO EasyCare 300 is being brought to you by Suzuki. Your Suzuki motorcycle and ATV dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. By Quaker State, the motor oil that exceeds the highest standards for engine protection. And by the NASCAR Story. To order, call 800-71-NASCAR. Let's check in the pits with Bill Weber. Bill, there are already some cars on pit road.
And Glenn Brewer sits here right now. Said the car just shut off while he was on one of the parade laps, leaning here real quick. Glenn, any luck?
I don't know. The motor just quit running. Now we can't get it turned over to do nothing. I don't know if something happened to it or what.
Okay, they just put the air filter back on. They're going to try and get it back out. Kyle.
The 02 car and the 51 came in the pits at the same time. The 02 car to move his steering wheel one notch. It was in the wrong place. The 51 car, they had too much tape on the car. They had to take some off. As cold as it is today, they still got to take tape off of it to get the temperatures back down, guys.
And that 02 car was on the outside pole. Now he's at the back of the field as we get the green flag.
The 02 was Rick Shepard, and the 51 was Ed Dixon, but Bobby Boucher leads him down as smoke comes out of one car.
Scott Neal, the 24 car, is There we see already going to the bottom of the racetrack. Man, oh man. Jeff McClure goes by in the 50 car. Pretty good battle for the lead. And there's Bob Hill in 46. Remember the last time we saw him, Ned?
Yeah, at Daytona. He was in a tumbling around and a terrible situation there. It's good to see him back here and running so well, running in third place right now.
Challenge for second spot is now Hill will try to look to the inside of Dill Whittemore, the 56 car. Whittemore, last year's co-rookie of the year, but a challenge for third, and that looks like Andy Hillenberg making a move.
Hillenberg started in the 5th position, already moved up now to 3rd.
The 33 car, the white car with the gold letters, is Harris Devane.
Bowser got himself a pretty good lead here while those cars battled for position behind him. Hillenberg looking high now. He's in the blue and white, number 52. Trying to move up on the outside.
24 car is still smoking, and it seems to be getting a little bit worse as Hillenberg takes over the second spot.
This is the car owned by Kenny Schrader as he runs second. How about Tim Steele, the man of steel we talked about? That's the car, number 16, the HS Dye Ford Thunderbird. You hear Bill Weber tell you Steele has been under the weather with a kidney stone, just gets by on the outside, or is now door to door with Harris Devane as a challenge up front.
And
Kenny Schrader's car, driven by Hillenberg.
Hillenberg, I'll get it to spit it out here in a moment.
Takes the lead.
Boy, he made a bold move in here. Already in heavy traffic just after a few laps. Bowser moved down to the inside. He drops back to 3rd.
And Kyle, how about the Scott Neal car? What's the problem with the car number 24?
I don't know. They thought they had an oil leak, and what they were going to do is try to ride it out. They thought they had too much oil in the tank. They were going to ride it out and just let it blow. Nobody was complaining about it. There's no oil on the back of the car. There's no oil on the ground underneath the car. I don't know where it's coming from, guys. They're running over all over this thing, but Scott seems to be getting out of the car like it's over with for him. Guys,
that's too bad, and Tim Steele takes over the second spot. So now it's Hillenberg and Tim Steele running 1-2.
Tim Steele had that car down at Dawsonville, Georgia 3 or 4 days ago. They had a new Ernie Elliott engine put in. Speaking of new engines, folks, you're seeing history in the making in that car number 52. For the first time, that brand new SB2 second generation small block Chevrolet. SB2.
Small block 2.
Yeah, I say SB.
Yeah.
Okay, SB2. Small block.
SB2. It has cylinder heads very similar to the Ford. And the big block Chevrolet, some stagger valve, and some of the engine builders told me that it looks very, very good in development. They are not legal for the Winston Cup cars as of yet.
And this one was built by Kenny Bingham and Ronnie Revis, B&R. They do the R&D work for Rick Hendrick and for Chevrolet. So Hillenberg flexing the muscles. There's the 21 car still moving back. Now being shown back in the 4th spot and in jeopardy of losing that.
The in-car on board camera with Mark Thompson in the Phoenix Air car. And 3 cars ahead. I guess that's Harris Devane directly in front of Mark Thompson. Yes, it is. Okay, here comes Steele on the inside. This is a battle for the lead.
Not much of a battle, though, Ned. Looks like Steele showed a lot of muscle in the corner.
His car is very, very fast, especially through the turns. Now he'll drive deeper into turn 3. Takes the lead from Hillenberg. Started in 11th. Didn't take him long to get to the front.
Now, the only question is, can Tim Steele run 300 kilometers with the kidney stone rolling around in there?
Here's Philip Young, car number 13. That's the son of Clay Young, a 2-time IMSA champion. Philip had a top 15 finish here in the past in ARCA competition in Atlanta. Plans to run the Speedways, but off the pace. As you see now, Tim Steele and Andy Hillenberg flash by and put Young a lap down. We're in the early laps here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. 8 laps are complete of 122 in this 300-kilometer event. Tim Steele is our leader. And we welcome you back to Atlanta Motor Speedway, the APCO EasyCare 300 ARCA event for 1996. And Tim Steele picking up where he left off last November, leading the way. And here's the defending series champion, the AC Delco colors for Andy Hillenberg. Driving for Ken Schrader, Timmy Cahuth is the team manager there.
And those 2 cars have pulled away dramatically from the 3rd place car. of Dill Whittemore.
And there he is. That's the black car, number 56. And there we see 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Mark Thompson, the black 66, moves out, trying to take over the 6th spot from Harris Devane.
That's the roof cam, the Phoenix there, Midway Island roof cam from Mark Thompson. Mark's best finish in Atlanta came last March in the spring event. He finished 6th. There's Shane Doles, the Cellular One Pontiac, and remember the hard luck he had in Daytona. Well, it continues once again. He made a pit stop a moment ago while we were in break.
Yeah, he had changed the right front tire, Jerry, and went back out, but still is not up to speed.
Shane Doles has a broken axle shaft. He made his pit stop, change right sides, and I noticed the car as he left the pits, the right rear tire was just spinning wildly, like it has no traction whatsoever. So, Kyle, I think he's got a broken axle.
That's what he seems to think, Benny. And I want to tell you something. This morning in practice, when we were leaving the pits and stuff, these tires were so cold, it would just rattle the rear ends out of these cars. So evidently, sometime on a restart or on something, he's broken an axle. They're going to try to get it changed. They're going to try to figure out whether it's that or maybe the springs in the ratchet. They don't know, but you know how bad this place is. When you're in a corner and you've got this much corner here, and a car's only pulling for one tire, off one tire, it's incredibly hard to drive. So he's done a good job so far just to keep it straight.
And not to crash the car, you're exactly right, Kyle. Here we see Thompson trying to take over from Hill.
That's 3rd, 4th, and 5th, Benny, is Dill Whittemore with the black car in front of the red car. That's Whittemore, Hill, and then Mark Thompson.
Actually, make that 4th, 5th, and 6th. Bobby Bowser has passed them and pulled out in front of them now in 3rd place, and we have caution on the track.
Barry Tripp is spun down in turn 1 and 2, and here he comes off and just is barely missed by Mark Stahl. There we see Tripp is spun. Caution flag is out. We see the roof lamp is deployed on Tripp's car. And he just was almost T-boned by Mark Stahl when he went by.
Now that'll bring out the first caution flag today here on lap 15. The big question is, will Tim Steele come in and change drivers? There's Gary Bradbury standing by in the pits. Bradbury, the 1994 Rookie of the Year, Prestone Rookie of the Year in ARCA competition.
He's taking his coat off like he's getting in the car, so we'll have to check and see.
Well, we'll take a break and come back and see if our leader has a new driver in that car. From Atlanta, we'll be right back. Stay with us. Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway here in Hampton, Georgia, the early laps of the APCO EasyCare 300. First caution flag today due to a spin by Perry Tripp. Perry Tripp has since been on pit road. Did not hit anything on the racetrack, but has made a pit stop as we get set to go back to green. And Tim Steele will lead the charge. We might mention that one of the cars in the top 5, Mark Thompson, made a pit stop, and we'll update his status as Steele now gets a challenge entering turn 1.
Andy Hillenberg took a look, and obviously Steele did not stop and change drivers. He's still out there going strong. We speculated that Tim Steele was a kidney stone problem, that he might come in and change drivers, but Bill Weber, everything seems to be okay.
And he thought he was coming in too. In fact, before that caution came out, he called in and said, you know, get Gary Bradbury ready. I'm going to get out of the first caution. And then the caution came out. All of a sudden, he started feeling a lot better. And some of the guys on his crew were saying that that car's so good, it's going to take a lot more than a kidney stone to get him out of it. So Bradbury's ready, but right now it's Tim's car to drive.
I can really sympathize with him on that kidney stone situation. I had a history of those things back in the late 70s for about 5 or 6 years, and there's no pain that could be worse than kidney stone.
And no better medicine than a car that's leading the race, too, Ed. Let's go down and check in with Kyle Petty.
Well, I'm here in the pits behind the wall with Shane Doles. We got to quit meeting like this, man. I don't know what to do. If you can see the inside of this car, you can see it's yellow, just like the one you had at Daytona. Last time we saw this car, it had tape on it, it had Bondo on it, it had everything in the world but a right side glass. You guys were scrambling for that. Now all of a sudden you show up in Atlanta, you got a big time sponsor. What's going on here?
Well, we've been working on Cellular One people here for quite a while, and after the Daytona deal, we got together and everything came together. So looks like we're going to have a long-lasting relationship with these people. We're really excited about having them here.
Well, that's good. Why are you sitting here? What seems to be the problem this time?
Well, we hadn't really got a whole lot of practice with the car this weekend because of the rain and all, and everything was going real good. We could start moving up. I was happy with the car, and about the first lap, I really started trying to move up. The ratchet broke in the rear end, so it's only got one wheel pulling. You can't last here like that.
That's exactly right. Like we said before, man, when an axle breaks or a ratchet, it's you got your handfuls all day long. He had them full for a little while, but he's changing it.
And you're right. Kyle used the word full, that word hands. He said you don't have a handful, you got hands full. Both. It takes all your hands.
I'll tell you one guy I'm going to give a hand to right now is this car right here. Ron Barfield started 21st, Benny and Ned, and now he's currently 4th spot. And remember, he started back in the pack and finished 5th at Daytona. How about the car that made a pit stop here? Mark Thompson.
Thompson stopped just a moment ago, and he's now in 10th spot already. That's Jeff McClure direct in front of him in the UAW Lear Segan automobile. You see a piece of rubber as it blows back on our camera lens.
You're wondering what Midway Island is. That's going to be a new ecotourism resort, wildlife lovers area.
You never saw the movie Midway Island?
Oh, I know what Midway Island is. I'm a big military buff, but I'm talking about folks watching at home. I mean, it's been closed for years, and under the BRCA Act, Base Realignment Closure Act, it is now going to be a tourist area.
I'm impressed because I didn't know what that was.
There we see Thompson. He goes to the corner. He's in the corner steering. And not a lot of effort. The car must be handling fairly decent because we can see there isn't a tremendous amount of effort. He's not really fighting anything as he goes to the corner.
His best Atlanta finish was 6th a year ago in this event.
Saw that glare coming in the window there through the net a moment ago, and the glare does get pretty severe, particularly entering 3 here late in the afternoon. And ordinarily, the ARCA or NASCAR officials will allow the crews to have an extra man that puts some tape on the windshield. There's a look at Mark Thompson. Remember that wild ride he had in Daytona a year ago, February? He somersaulted into a rim down the backstretch, broke some ribs, was over at Halifax Hospital for a while. Well, he has bounced back big time and now trying to make a move to take another spot away here on the racetrack.
And could not quite make it. And meanwhile, he's about to lose a spot if he isn't careful. Looks like Mark Gibson on the outside. Is that Gibson in the 59 car? Ooh, look at Gibson go. And this is not a Chrysler product, folks. You're accustomed to seeing Gibson in the Chrysler. This is a Ford automobile, one of Rick Mast's cars from last year that they just have purchased. Some guys here in Georgia, and there's a battle for 3rd place. We see that Ron Barfield, the 94, has caught Bowser in the 21.
That's the Bill Elliott-owned car, number 94. Finished 5th at Daytona. Bobby Bowser, 2-time series champion. We're told this sponsor is going away in May. The Quality Farm and Fleet people are going to change direction. So Bowser looking for a sponsor to complete the year in ARCA competition.
Is that Kelly Denton right on their back bumper?
Yes, it sure is, Ned.
He's having a great time.
Tremendous run. We haven't talked about him, but a great run. Young man out of Bristol, Virginia.
Finished 12th at Daytona in his very first ARCA start, making his 2nd start here. Kelly will be 33 on Sunday. Runs up at Lonesome Pine, New River Valley, and late model stock car racing action.
Barfield took a look, but could not make the pass.
It looks like he wants to do it on the inside, but those cars we've seen try to get on the inside to get Peach down. It looked like he might lose the spot. Denton looks at the outside, but he's not quite going to pass either.
It's Bob Dodge in the 09 car that these fellas are going by. And
Denny on this racetrack, as much turn as we have here, each turn takes up a half a mile, and depending on how a car is set up, when you try to pass on the inside, you can pinch the thing down, bind the car up, and lose a lot of RPMs.
Yes, the higher groove keeps the car much freer and keeps the horsepower up. But again, the bottom of the racetrack, obviously the shorter way around.
Tim Steele being shown as our leader here in the early laps at Atlanta Motor Speedway. 3 consecutive wins to finish out the 1995 season, picking up where he left off a year ago at the head of the pack. We'll be back. Stay with us. Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, that's the guy who's leading the way. Tim Steele on the verge of trying to fend off a kidney stone after a 6-day stay in the hospital up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Wasn't feeling well, has a driver standing by, but he's showing the way right now, driving the car. Hillenberg is in the 2nd spot. Here is Bowser in 3rd, and there's been a change for 4th.
Kelly Denton in the 86 Ford has taken over that spot from Ron Barfield.
These three cars are really going at it here, having a good battle.
And it's good to see Bowser running better because he has not run well here in Atlanta the last few years, but today looks like his car is doing pretty doggone decent. So it's good to see because his dad, Jack, helped me out a great deal when I was trying to get started. Here goes Denton on the inside trying to take a spot away.
Got himself a good run coming off of turn 2. He might do it going into turn 3. Yeah, he just drives on in there. Bowser backs off and lets him go.
Hard to believe this young man is making only his second ever ARCA start on a super speedway. His first one at Daytona. We told you he finished 12th down there. Making his second start in Atlanta, which is not an easy racetrack to drive, guys.
No, it's not an easy racetrack. Now, Barfield had fallen back. I thought something happened to the car, but I guess he's trying to fall back to get a good run on him, but he still just can't come off the corner. He's trying once again. He's going to drive in. Thought he was going to try to pull a slide job on Bowser, but that didn't work. He might have him this time, Ned.
Well, I don't know. Bowser had a good run off of the turn. Now here comes Barfield again. Drives her deep into the turn. Slips up just a little bit, but still plenty of room. Think he's got him now, for sure.
The spotter, if he has one, is going to be yelling, clear. Move on up the racetrack. Now they've used all the racetrack, Ron, to keep the car running as free as possible. Now we'll go back in the battle in the field, and there's a great battle between Harris Devane in the white car and Mark Gibson in the 59 car.
That's 8th and 9th, Benny. Devane in the 33 car. New color scheme for him. The Carlton Company, one of his sponsors, a Caterpillar dealer out of Albany, Georgia.
It looks like Blaze Alexander, the 26 car, has joined that group. Yes, he has. So there's 8th, 9th, and 10th.
And caution being weighed. We are told one car is spinning here right on the front straightaway, right in front of Philip Young. And Young goes high as does Frog Hall and Jeff McClure. Here comes Ed Dixon by. The car that is spun is the car number 87, Mike McNeese out of Tallapoosa, Georgia. And now we'll bring out caution for the second time today.
Well, Barfield's car is missing badly. The New Holland car, no wonder he was falling back. He's missing badly as he went by our broadcast position. So he will be going directly to the pits.
He's run about 37 laps. They could make this race on just one pit stop, but will they pit here during caution to freshen those tires and put in fuel?
That's probably what they're planning on doing, Ned, is just make one stop rather than two and not give up track position. This is a wide racetrack, and obviously track position isn't as important as a small racetrack, but still, when you have to pass cars, it's always easier not to have to pass them.
Well, it's a 300-kilometer event, 187 miles, 122 laps. We're at 36 laps into this event, and caution flagged for the second time today, and the pits are open, and we'll see maybe if Tim Steele will come down and change drivers. Remember, we told you he had Gary Bradbury standing by. Bradbury, an ARCA veteran.
Tim Steele is coming in, Jerry.
Looks like they're all coming in. Now, they'll have to stop again after this. They cannot make it the rest of the way. From here on in, they will have to stop again, but they're all choosing to stop and put on some fresh Hoosier tires.
Here is Steele and Hillenberg, Kelly Denton, Ron Barfield, Bowsher, Hill, Bill Whittemore, Harris Devane. And let's go down to the Tim Steele pit and Bill Weber.
Well, the HS Dye car is here. Tim Steele sits in it. He will not get out. This will be a 4-tire change and fuel, and then they'll send him back out. Remember, these are Hoosier tires they run on in this series. Right side being affixed. They come around to the left side, jerk off the side tires. 52 car gets right side tires. The left sides are on. A lot of fuel spillage, but Steele is away. Bumps the tire out of his way and returns to the track. Left side's now on the 52 car. These pit stops coming now on lap 37. Tim Steele, the leader, has returned to the track.
And a great pit stop for Mark Gibson, Tony Gibson and company. And then there's still a problem in the pits for the 52 car.
Yeah, he's still in the pits. Adam Hillenberg losing a lot of positions. He finally gets going now, but he was about the slowest of those making pit stops.
Well, caution for the second time today. All the cars, the lead cars, have been on pit road. What a great stop for Mark Gibson. We'll see where he comes out. So we'll come back with more from Atlanta in just a moment. Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Atlanta coverage continues. Coming up next, the Busch Grand National Series Busch Light 300. Dick Trickle on the pole, driving for Dennis Shoemaker. Had an exciting side when that one will be here on the 1.5 mile oval at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And both the ARCA and Busch Series events coming your way on ESPN Prime on the Prime Network, 8 p.m. Eastern Time and 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's ESPN Classic coming up Tuesday night. Under caution, here in Atlanta. A spin at the start-finish line by the car number 87. And Mike Benice's car spun and back underway. So we'll come back and take the green flag and get ready for more ARCA action, but we'll take a quick break and come back to Atlanta Motor Speedway with 300-kilometer ARCA action. Back in a moment. Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, ARCA action. Lap 41 here, the restart. Caution number 2 today due to the spin of Mike McNeese out of Tallapoosa, Georgia, here at the start-finish line. Going back to green flag racing action. Stop number 2 on the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series Tour.
Look at old Mark Gibson go there, Ned. He get pretty racy, isn't he?
He's getting very racy.
And there we see Bobby Bowser in the 21. He's 3rd. Kelly Denton is 4th. But there's a race for the lead on the left side of your screen, and there's 3, 4, and 5 on the right side. And I must be hearing things because they did not raise the hood on Barfield's car. It looks to me like he's running A-OK.
That's a battle for 4th spot. Barfield, the car 94 on the inside. Kelly Denton on the outside. The car in front of him, Boucher, is in 3rd spot. Side-by-side action. We told you that great pit stop that Mark Gibson had under caution. Well, he came from running 6th to 2nd after that pit stop. Great effort by Mark Gibson.
And he's the most experienced driver in the field, Jerry. He has more than 2,740 miles of competition in ARCA. So he's showing what that experience can do.
Kelly Denton, ooh, he got that car loose down in turn 1, but he turns under Bowser. That boy just don't know, Ned. You can't do all that stuff. He'll find out in a minute. But he did it anyway.
And he takes 3rd spot away. Boucher now loses the 4th spot to Ron Barfield. That's 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Back here is 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. That's Hillenberg and
Blaze Alexander in the 26 car. Bob Hill in 46. Ed Dixon in 51. And there we see Mark Thompson, our onboard camera, behind Ed Dixon.
Hillenberg dropped back to about 10th place on that pit stop, but he now has worked his way back up to 6th.
And Mark Thompson currently running in 10th spot. There's Mark, the black car, top of your screen.
If he's 10th, there must be 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, huh?
And what about Andy Hillenberg dropping back a little bit now, moving back toward the front? Let's check in on his pits with Bill Weber.
Well, Jerry, they had a long pit stop, as you guys mentioned. They had trouble the caution comes out here in Atlanta, so we'll get back to that story as the caution comes out, guys.
And Bill, we had a car tag the wall up in turn 2. That's the car number 09.
Bob Dodds.
And Bob Dodds was the most improved driver last year in ARCA competition, finished 11th in the points. He has tagged the wall, but now hasn't refired and headed back. Let's check in again, Bill. What about Andy Hillenberg?
Well, this team was trying to make both the ARCA race and the Busch race. Same guys working 2 cars, running back and forth. They really didn't get time to glue the lug nuts. And then in the cold weather, when they did get time to glue it, the lug nuts didn't stick. So they had a lug nut problem during the pit stop. That's what cost them valuable time, dropped them back in the field, and it's trying to race back toward the front. Now the question is, who will come back in here to the pits as we continue to work this race on lap 45? We'll have to wait and see, and we'll update the Tim Steele situation as well, guys, with Gary Bradbury still standing by.
Well, they just pitted, went back to green on lap 41, so 4 laps ago, and there is the car number 09 that's tagged the wall, Bob Dodds out of Dayton, Ohio. 49 years of age in Numerics Unlimited Ford. We mentioned he finished 11th in the points a year ago in ARCA competition, was voted most improved driver, had a good year last year.
And you see both the tires on the left side are flat. That did not cause the spin. That's the result of the spin.
So caution for the 3rd time today thus far here in the early laps. 46 laps in the books at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Back with more action after this. Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Jerry Punch along with Benny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, Kyle Petty, and Bill Weber bringing you ARCA APCO EasyCare 300 action. Second stop on the ARCA Tour. Of course, tonight, it's Devils and Flyers. The defending Stanley Cup champion Devils are fighting for their playoff lives. They travel to the Spectrum in Philly to take on Eric Lindros and the Flyers. The NHL on ESPN tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And the caution flags out here in Atlanta due to a spin up in turns 1 and 2 by the car number 09. White contact up there by Bob Dodds out of Dayton, Ohio. As the track continues its cleanup and it's almost completed, we'll get set to go green flag racing in just a moment. We'll take a break from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Tim Steele being shown as our leader. Stay with us. Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, as you take a look at the top 15, we'll remind you that fueling is always a precise science in motorsports, as Bill Weber takes a closer look in this ESPN Track Fact. Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State, the motor oil that exceeds the highest standards for engine protection.
We're down here in Andy Hillenberg's pit, and we're going to show you how they know exactly how much fuel they get in the car. This is Robert Ingram. He's their gas man. This is a scale. He's going to hang this full gas can on this scale. He calibrates it to 0, then hangs it on there, gets the exact weight. Now, fuel weighs 6.5 pounds a gallon. So we'll wait and see what this one weighs in at. About 78, now 79, now into 82, around 83 pounds for that gas can. So now they know how much the can weighs. They'll be able to deduct the amount of fuel that goes into the car, combine that at 6.5 pounds per gallon, and they'll know exactly how much fuel Andy Hillenberg has to know if he can get to the finish later on in this race. So that's how some of the mathematics work down here in the ARCA pits, guys.
It's a good thing Jenkins don't have that job, because he'd never figure it out.
He'd be out of gas all the time with his calculator. Yeah, but we've seen some of the best. We saw Jack Rouse sit up there one day with the calculator, and he missed it a few times, and he's one of the best guys when it comes to building those engines and calculating. But it can happen to the best of them, including Bob Jenkins. Lap 51, restart here after the third caution flag today, and Tim Steele, kidney stone and all, is still being shown as our leader here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
He wants to run, get this thing over with in a hurry and get out of that race car. It's ready to run so fast.
Tim Steele has already pulled away to a 5 or 6 car length advantage over Mark Gibson in just one lap. Here comes Hillenberg back to the front, or trying to get back to the front. That's Hillenberg in the white and blue 52. Bobby Bowser in the 21, and that's a race for 5th, and Hillenberg has it.
Bobby Bowser started on the pole by virtue of starting in the car owners' point standings from 1995. And look at this scramble back here, Ned. There's Bob Hill back there. Mark Thompson is involved. Bill Whittemore.
Blaze,
7th, 8th, 9th, 10th.
Blaze Alexander is leading that group. There's Blaze in 7th spot. Hill trying to take it away.
Remember what happened to Blaze back in November here? He was running 4th, and they came down for a routine pit stop under caution. He left pit road and took about half the pit equipment with him.
He ran over an air hose and got tangled up in the car. And meanwhile, he has lost 2 spots as Bob Hill in 46 and Mark Thompson 66 able to get by. And there's Bill Whittemore in 56 trying to get by. And now here Kelly Denton's trying to take over 2nd spot.
Mark Gibson in the car number 59. If you're looking for a Chrysler, don't look very hard, because Mark said, I've tried and tried and tried to get those Chrysler Mopars to run, and they never got any help from Chrysler. So I said, hey, I've got a career to worry about. He's driving a Ford for L.C. Smith. They bought 2 cars and 6 motors from Richard Jackson. This is their first outing with that equipment, and boy, what an outing it is for Mark Gibson and brother Tony, who's the crew chief.
And Kelly Denton right on the white line trying to get a run as they come off the corner. Spawn Divots, a local restaurant chain, the sponsor on the Mark Gibson automobile.
They didn't know about those restaurants. So
that's exactly.
You wouldn't miss that. I was waiting. I just said I was getting 1,002th after, and here it came.
Well, his kid, Bob Jenkins not here to defend himself, so, you know, take a bit.
We got to take up for Bob and remember that he would be busting on Benny about mentioning those restaurant clubs. There's Gibson. being shown in second spot. Denton is third. Ron Barfield is fourth. And where's our leader, Benny? He's not pulling away too much.
I would think that the pain is probably, wouldn't you think with a kidney stone, I mean, you know more than I, but wouldn't it get more painful as time went on?
Well, I've treated them, but I've never had one. Ned's a better guy to talk about the pain of a kidney stone.
It comes and goes. I mean, it could be away for a day or two and then come back and hit you hard, and you can have those intervals just every few seconds.
What about it, Bill Weber? What's he saying to the crew?
He's saying you guys built a heck of a race car. He's really happy with us. Says the car's running real fine. In fact, he radioed in during the caution thinking, with all this bouncing around, maybe that kidney stone won't be around anymore after this race. So go to victory lane and either forget all about it or it'll be gone. Do you think that's possible, Jerry, that he could just pulverize it in a race car?
Well, I don't think that would happen. I know you see a lot of guys, these guys with kidney stones will do about anything you can think of to get rid of it. But his, actually his was about halfway down into his bladder, and they did a test and pushed it back up into the kidney. That's why they put that little tube in, so if it does start to come down, it'll pass through. But when it passes, there's significant discomfort.
Man, I can't stand it. That's enough talking about all that painful stuff.
Okay.
Man.
Anyway, he's leading the race right now.
Okay, good.
Ouch. The HS die. That's Harold Steele. The H1HS stands for. That's his dad. Harold Steele owns that tool and die company up in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Top four cars running right together. And I'm sure that the new owners of the Mark Gibson car has to be delighted with the performance that Gibson's putting on today. There's Mark Stahl in the blue and white car. That's the 32 car. And Dale Whittemore in the black number 56. That's a battle for 10th. Mark Stahl living near Savannah, Georgia now, or in Savannah. Remember in Daytona the dash race that we televised there, the Daytona USA 200, Mark Stahl built a lot of those cars.
Mark Stahl finished 7th at Daytona in the season opening ARCA 200. In fact, he finished 7th here last November. So his last two outings in ARCA competition. In fact, this is the car he ran here last November when he finished 7th. So having a good run again today, being shown in 10th position.
Oh, there's Kelly Denton trying to take over second spot.
Got a good run off turn 4 down on the inside, and he has him.
He's a tremendous run off turn 4 and is taking over second spot. What a run for Kelly Denton.
Hey, I'm impressed with that young man.
I am too, Ned. Some of his relatives, I think his mom or his sister or girlfriend in Daytona told me what a talent he was, but he's convincing me now himself.
And the halfway being given to Tim Steele. The Auto Value halfway leader, $1,000 goes to Steele as he leads him across. 61 complete, 61 to go. We are halfway home in this one, the APCO EasyCare 300. As we continue with ARCA competition from Atlanta Motor Speedway after this. Challenge up front back at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Didn't take Kelly Denton long to catch the leader.
Well, sure did. He has got the lead in his eyes, Ned, and I tell you what, don't get in his way. Do not get in his way, because he wants to lead this baby.
He is a man possessed right now. He made the move around Gibson, took over second place, and just took him a couple of laps to run down Tim Steele. And yeah, he wants to lead.
Kelly Denton started back in 22nd position, his second ever Super Speedway start, only his second ARCA start for finishing 12th at Daytona. He is 32 years old, will be 33 on March 10th. And let's check in once again in Tim Steele's pits with Bill Weber.
Okay, Jerry, I'm like the middleman for you down here. Steele has been talking to his crew. The vibrations in this race car beginning to get to him. He's experiencing considerable discomfort. He's hanging tough, but now it's gone from I'm going to take it to the finish to I'm not sure if I'm going to make it.
Well, in a few more laps, it's going to be get somebody, I would guess.
If he gets past, that thing will start hurting. And maybe that car that Kelly Denton is driving is one of the cars they bought at the Kenny Bernstein auction. So that's a former Winston Cup car. We know it's a good race car. So, and he's driving it well.
Two of those Kenny Bernstein cars in the field today. Darrell Lanigan qualified 13th. One of those cars at Daytona started 27th today.
6th and 7th place cars. That's Andy Hillenberg, car number 52 in 5th. Bobby Bowser in 6th position, car number 21. And the Bob Hill, car number 46, running in the 7th position. They're about 9 seconds behind the leaders.
Back up front, here it is, Benny. Pretty well stabilized now for a couple of car lanes.
Well, Tim Steele ran across some slow traffic coming off that second corner. He had to back out of the gas just a little bit, and here comes Kelly Denton. Could not quite make the run, but couldn't quite take the lead, but he had a run on him there for a second.
They got about 5 lap cars that they're coming up on that'll come into play. And there you can see them to the left of your screen come into play here in the next lap or so.
And Mark Gibson, the 59 car, is not let these two get away from him. He's just lurking back about 10, 15 car lengths behind these two cars.
I said that lap traffic come into play in a lap or so. Yeah, just 1 lap they have come into play. Here they'll catch them going down into turn 1.
That's Harris Devane on the inside, the first white car that you run across. Perry Tripp would be the next one. And Jerry Hill.
Benny, that's 13th and 14th position that they're going by right now. That's the 33 car. Devane was in 13th spot. Perry Tripp was in 14th position.
Okay, Kelly, now you need to follow Steele through this traffic. Be careful going through there and try to get him after you get through there.
Boy, I'm impressed with Kelly Denton. What a job he's doing here in Atlanta. Then they came here and tested and ran some laps, but still, that's pretty impressive what you can do on the racetrack.
There we see Gibson in the 3rd place, is still just a few car lengths behind. Bill Weber?
Hey, Ned, did you just say the 86 should follow Steele through traffic?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, the guys down here just had to check with a Winston Cup official. They wanted to know who's driving the 86 car. They didn't know the driver, and they didn't want to pass or get trapped in traffic with a guy they didn't know. So now they're being a little extra careful. Now they know who's in the car, but they don't know his driving style or his characteristics. So when you get new faces in a series, sometimes even as the race goes along, you have to learn your competition.
A very good point, and he lost a little bit in that traffic that they went through, but he did the smart thing by picking his way through there. He has a good fast race car and lost a little bit of distance to Tim Steele, but if the car is good enough, and it has shown a couple of times that it is good enough for it to catch him back. We'll see here in the next few laps.
Boy, a close call a moment ago for Mark Gibson trying to go around one of the slower cars. Back with more action from Atlanta after this. Stay with us. Atlanta Motor Speedway is the site here at Hampton, Georgia for the ARCA APCO EasyCare 300, the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series second stop. Second of 11 Super Speedway events. We'll have the next Super Speedway race coming your way on ESPN and ESPN2. That's from Talladega Super Speedway coming up in April. If you just joined us, Tim Steele, who won here back in last November, is being shown as our leader. There's the car number 16, Tim Steele, the former series champion. 3-time winner back in 1995, and a rookie competitor, Kelly Denton, and that's yellow, black, and red numeral Ford Thunderbird, car number 86. He is in 2nd spot.
And he's gaining again on Tim Steele. Tim had pulled out to about a 20-car length lead after they went through some traffic, but now Denton's beginning to close in a little bit. Then it looks like he's running an awfully good line through the turns, especially when he's running alone. The car seems to stick right about the 2nd lane in traffic, which is a good place to run here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
I mentioned Mark Gibson had a close call. We went to break a moment ago. Gibson is running in 3rd spot. He came up on the Jeff McClure car, and McClure went to avoid another car and almost pulled right up in front of Gibson, who had to jump on the brakes.
We see the 4th place car of Ron Barfield, the New Holland. And there we see Jeff McClure in the 50 car, the car that you were just talking about, Jerry, a moment ago, and the 02 car of Rick Shepard started on the outside pole, but Rick made a pit stop before they ever took the green flag for some problem. They raised the hood, worked on the car, and Barfield not able to get by Jeff McClure in the 50 car. Now maybe he's got him. He comes off the corner, gets a pretty good run. And he'll charge out in turn 1, and we'll take that spot away. And that's not a spot for position. There's our next place car of Andy Hillenberg. He's pulled away from Bobby Bausch a little bit, as you can see on the screen.
And he's gaining on Barfield. Barfield, of course, lost the draft of the lead threesome when he got in that traffic and cost him a lot of time. He's now running about between 5 and 6 seconds behind the leaders.
And here's 6th and 7th spot. Car number 21 in 6th, and 7th is Bob Hill in the Chevrolet. Our AutoZone race recap. Our leader is Tim Steele, has led 68 of 75 laps. There have been 2 lead changes. Cautions 3 for 12 laps. The average speed, because of the 3 caution flags, 124.433 miles per hour. Who have been our leaders? Well, Tim Steele dominating thus far. Andy Hillenberg and Bobby Bausch started up front by virtue of last year's car owner standings. Out of race, Scott Neal, Larry Kennedy, Norm Benning, who had an engine problem, Gary Weinbrower, and Todd Boucher. Also out of the race, Drew White, Glenn Brewer, former Rookie of the Year, and a rookie, Harold Flanagan.
Did you see that move that Kelly Denton did down the front straightaway, Ned?
No, I didn't, Benny.
Oh, Tim Steele was passing the car on the outside. There were 2 cars abreast. So he just went down next to the inside wall, about 4 deep, passed them.
About like Dale Earnhardt would do, huh?
Exactly.
Now, is he that good, or he just doesn't know any better?
I don't think he knows any better, but I mean, but let's face it, to do the things he's done today, he has some talent. There's no doubt about that.
Yes, sir. He has impressed me.
Now we see Mark Stahl, the 32 car, being lapped. Mark.
Got a pretty good tailwind going into turn 1 here. That wind looks like it's blowing about 25 or 30 miles an hour, so it carries them into that turn pretty quick.
I guess we've got on replay what I was talking about. Here we see, and they're not that far apart, just a couple of car lengths, and there are the 2 cars I was talking about. That's Frog Hall and Philip Young, and you see him, Ned, just down next to that inside wall.
Pretty nifty move.
Yahoo!
I tell you what, guys, we talked about how brutally cold it is here today and how the weather has been chilly, and the wind is gusting 20-25 miles an hour. The flags are like they are just absolutely starched, and you don't see a bobble in a camera shot. Our guys are doing a tremendous job. Congratulations, guys, on being able to buck that wind up there, just hanging on to those cameras on the roof, just giving us outstanding shots like that one there. Kelly Denton going into the turn.
Hey, they are real troopers.
My hat's off to them. There's no doubt that I was outside for about an hour today and couldn't stand it. I got to get inside. Ned's had it much too easy up there in that booth. I got to go help Ned.
And we appreciate you coming up, Eddie.
There's the first 3 cars, the red 16, the yellow and black 86, and the red 59. Great car race we have going here.
You wonder if Tim Steele's running just as fast as he has to.
I get the impression that he pulls away about 15 or 20 car lengths, and then all of a sudden, Kelly Denton comes back up to within 1 or 2 car lengths. So I think under Steele's medical condition, he's having trouble being consistent.
Well, it's sort of quieting down on the track right now. Everyone's settled in single file, and Tim Steele still showing the way. The interval pretty much stabilized. A couple of car lengths back to Kelly Denton, the rookie, in 2nd spot. And then Mark Gibson 3rd, Ron Barfield 4th, and the series defending champion Andy Hillenberg in 5th spot. And Denton closing to a car length. Can he do it? But I think you're right, Ned. I believe Tim Steele is running about as hard as he has to right now with that Ernie Elliott engine.
Well, they better step it up just a little bit. He don't want anyone to get too close to him, and Denton is getting very close. He's moving to the inside. He's going for it.
Man, he almost ran in the apron, gets the car sideways as he comes off 2. Almost lost that baby.
Probably heats those tires up just a little bit there, too, even on a cold day. That might hurt him a little bit.
That's 60 miles to go.
Take a look again at this recovery by Denton.
Watch. Wow, is that thing sideways. Man.
Well, now he knows better.
He wants to win. He wants to pass that 16 car and take the lead.
All right, less than 40 to go here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Can Tim Steele make it 2 in a row here in Hampton, Georgia, or can the rookie from Georgia win it? We'll be back in just a moment. Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Hampton, Georgia. Michigan's Tim Steele and Tennessee's Car number 86, what a great run for Kelly.
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry, Bristol, Virginia.
I mean, that's right. Bristol is also in Tennessee, but hey, there's a Bristol, Virginia too now.
And there's a Bristol, Connecticut too, Vinny.
Well, what happened to Kelly Denton that time? Did something happen to Kelly Denton? He went down in turn 1 and just all of a sudden slowed.
Well, he's still running second. He's lost a good bit of time to Tim Steele.
Well, let's check in on his pits with Kyle Petty. We had a car slowing off at turn 2, and now Denton spins sideways coming out of turn 4. Looks right, still hasn't touched anything, and he will just tap the outside wall and bring out the 4th caution flag of the day. There's the crew right there. What do you speculate? He might have had a tire. That's his brother Ron. Tires apparently were gone away, and you guys were correct. He used those tires up a minute ago when he got it sideways coming off 2. Heated those tires up, and he loops it. It could have been a lot worse as he brings out the caution on lap 88. Apparently there is a lot of smoke pouring from that car right there, Andy Hillenberg.
So maybe there was oil on the track.
Could have been, because he was smoking. Hillenberg was smoking, but Hillenberg's car is still running pretty well. It looks like the Hillenberg might have blown an oil line off or something. So we can see where we have some oil on the camera lens on Mark Thompson's car.
Take a look again at what happened coming out of turn 4.
And we see that Kelly Denton had slowed down. And he comes off the corner and just the car goes around. I think the car just, when he got the car loose over there coming off 2 a little bit a moment ago, Ned, he probably just got the tires a little too hot and they would not come back. Looked like he was going to spin all the way down the straightaway, not hit anything, but all of a sudden he backs it in the fence.
And I think it's got the rear end of the car all out of shape. It looked like it was not tracking as he got it going. He stayed in the lead lap, I think, but
Hillenberg is going down pit road with this smoker. Tell you what, if the mosquitoes were out, they wouldn't be around here today, because he has smoked this place up.
Remember, this is the debut of the new SB2 small block Chevy engine. That's making its motorsports debut in ARCA. Not yet allowed for NASCAR, Busch, or Winston Cup.
I'm glad you thought about that, because that's exactly right. That was the first trip out of that thing.
okay, leaders coming down pit road.
Could be their final pit stop, less than 40 to go, and as they're headed down to you, Bill Weber.
And the crew waits on Tim Steele as he nurses his Ford down pit road and slowly pulls into his pit stall. This will be the final scheduled stop of the race. 4 tires for the 16 car. They start on the right side. They'll top it off with fuel. The 59 to 94 cars also on pit road, working lap 88 here. Again, this is the final stop for all of them. On the 16, they jack around to the left side. They yank off the left side tires. Plenty of fuel now in the car. Look to bolt the tires on. These are Hoosier tires again for this series. Had trouble with the left front. They couldn't get the left front up. The 59 down in the way. Now Steele is finally down. The 59 is going to beat him. And Barfield away also.
But once again, Tony Gibson, Mark Gibson's brother, and that company doing a pretty good job. 30.8 seconds, relatively speaking. That's among the 3 cars that were pitting in the top 3, and they get Mark Gibson out once again as here comes Kelly Denton, and he's the car that spun and tagged the wall, and Kyle Petty is there.
Yeah, the rear end's tore off this thing. They're trying to get the back bumper off. They're trying to put gas in it. They're going to change 4 tires. His left front's flat. He's got a lot of damage here. I kind of feel like we jinxed him. We just moved down to his pits to talk to his crew chief, who's his older brother, Ron Denton, and he had his headset down around his neck whenever Kelly wrecked. So these guys were really running great. They've got some of the guys from the 90 crew here pitting them. They're trying to get it up. They're having trouble with the flat tires and stuff. They think they can stay in the lead lap, he said, even after all this has happened. They're just going to try to salvage it. It's just like you guys were talking. He was doing a good job today, but he got a little bit of the wrong kind of experience right here, guys.
McCall is going to have to hurry. He's going to go a lap down here at the pits as the pace car comes by right now, and I'm afraid that, yep, he's going to lap down.
We'll show you again while we're under caution for the 4th time today. Kelly Denton's yellow, black, and red Newman car number 86 coming out of turn 4.
Well, he comes out of the turn, and all of a sudden the back end just breaks loose, and it spins around. You can see the roof flaps come up, straightens it up momentarily, but then it spins around again, and there's where he hits the wall, and that's where the damage is done.
Now, that doesn't look like a hard lick, but, folks, he was probably running 60, 70 miles an hour when he backed that car into the fence. So you can see why the left side of that bumper is kind of bent down. Kyle Petty, what's wrong with Andy Hillenberg, you know?
They're saying they've got an oil leak, but, you know, I don't know. He's got out of the car. He's walked away by the time I got up here. But they're saying that what they had was they just had an oil leak. They didn't want to hurt this motor, just like you guys said. It's an experimental motor. This is one of the first times they've run it. They can take this back. They can tear it down. They can look at what they got out of it and get some information from them and come back. The motor was running pretty good. They were pleased with that part of it. But, you know, you park after you have an oil leak like this, and you just go back to the thing and try to figure out what you can.
Well, he's a defending series champion, but he has a short afternoon here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Andy Hillenberg, as the AC Delco Chevy is pushed back to the garage area. Back in a moment. Back at Hampton, Georgia, Atlanta Motor Speedway, the site of the APCO EasyCare 300 ARCA Series event. We're showing caution for the 4th time today due to an incident coming out of turn 4. Rookie driver, impressive rookie driver, Kelly Denton out of Bristol, Virginia, having a car come out from under him in turn 4. Speculation that he apparently heated his tires up when he saved the car just a couple laps prior to that, making a bid for the lead off turn 2. And of course, that has brought out the caution flag. Denton has since righted the car and gone to the pits, and now is back on the racetrack. NCAA women's basketball tournament tips off Friday on the Deuce and Saturday on ESPN. 25 games total from the first round to the Final Four. Catch all the action on ESPN and ESPN2 NCAA Women's Basketball Tournament starting Friday on the Deuce. And also on Classic ESPN, we'll have all the action of the NCAA Women's Tournament. That tips off Saturday, March 16th. From the beginning to the Final Four, you can catch it on ESPN Classic and on the Deuce. And that's the wind, folks. It is brutal here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It is cold. It is brutally cold and windy. But we are still under caution here as Tim Steele tries to battle the elements and possibly pick up his 2nd win in a row here at this mile-and-a-half oval. We'll be right back. Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Jerry Punch along with Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, Kyle Petty, and Bill Weber bringing you ARCA Series action. The Ford Mustang safety car has Mark Gibson. He's the leader in tow, along with Tim Steele, Ron Barfield, and Bob Hill. That's how they line up behind the safety car under caution for the 4th time today. And Kyle Petty is caught up with our defending series champion.
I'm standing here with Andy Hillenberg. We were just talking about this new motor because it's a GM motor, and I want to know things about it. How did this thing seem to run today?
Well, the motor ran great. You know, it's a new design by Chevrolet, and the car was running great. We just broke a fitting off the valve cover and, you know, pumped a bunch of oil out, and it's a matter of, you know, just putting a new valve cover on and redoing a couple lines, but we're out for the day. So I hate it because, you know, we got up there and led early, and then I wanted to see what the 16 car had. He was pretty strong and stayed right there, and we came in on the pit stop, and we changed a lot of stuff. We wanted to try some things since we didn't get a lot of practice yesterday and didn't quite like it. We were going to change it back on that last stop, and, you know, oh well, we'll come back, try to get him again, the AC Delco car.
They'll be back. You can count on that. This guy's a champion in every way.
Andy Hillenberg has only led 1 lap at Atlanta Motor Speedway, that coming back last November in the finale.
Cars lining up for a restart. Mark Gibson, the leader. This is the first race for this team, as you said, Jerry, and the owners are Billy Ballou and Donald Gilbert up here in the Atlanta area. And Mark and Tony Gibson, the brothers, are just delighted, tickled to death to be part of this. And obviously they're delighted because they're leading the race.
Made a good pit stop, a better pit stop than did Tim Steele. Now we'll see how much Tim has left. He hasn't had to pass a leader in quite a while. Of course, he started back in the 11th place and drove to the lead from that position. He's the only former winner in the race of this particular event. Or here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, I should say.
Getting set for a restart here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Jerry Punch along with Benny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, Bill Weber, and Kyle Petty in the pits. A chilly Kyle Petty and Bill Weber, as we're going to see if Mark Gibson can possibly pull off what he would like to do. He's finished 2nd here in 1990 to Jimmy Horton. And Gibson, his first run in the Ford after shelving the Chrysler project for so many years. And wouldn't it be perseverance paying off for Gibson if he can hang on and get a victory here today? Green flag waves from Doyle Ford as the laps are winding down. Lap 94 of 122.
White car on the inside is Harris Devane trying to stay in the, get a lap back, and here comes Steele on the inside.
Well, he isn't going to wait long, is he?
And there goes the 94 car of Barfield trying to go into second place. He does. Man, he and Gibson almost made some contact.
That's close. Barfield doesn't want Tim Steele to get too far away because, Benny, you get a lot of drafting effect here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
You certainly do at 190 miles an hour. A tremendous amount of drafting effect. And Gibson's car is just not right on this restart. Evidently, those 4 tires that he put on, either it's going to take him some time or they're mismatched. Still Whittemore in the black 56 behind Mark Gibson.
There's Blaze Alexander. That's fourth position as you're riding along with Mark Thompson in the 66 car. That's for 6th and 7th spots.
Well, it looks so easy, doesn't it, Dad? Just sitting there, that camera on top of that car, looks like there's nothing to it.
Yeah.
Trust me, folks, there is something to it.
There's lots to it.
Lots to it.
Your ride with Mark Thompson. He has an Ernie Elliott engine in that car, and also Ernie Elliott motors and some other cars up front. Tim Steele and the car 94 of Ron Barfield. That's the Bill Elliott on the machine. Thompson started back in 14th spot, as you saw, currently showing in the 7th spot. So 4 Ernie Elliott engines in the top 10.
He's doing okay, isn't he?
Not having a bad day. I think he had 6 engines in the race, so not bad to have 4 in the top 10.
This shows what kind of talent Ernie Elliott has as far as engine building. He's definitely one of the most respected engine builders in motorsports.
Mark Thompson still trying to get by Blaze Alexander. Meanwhile, there's Tim Steele in the lead. Kidney stone and all, and here comes Ron Barfield. That is the 2nd place car.
Holland Tractor sponsorship on Barfield's car, and that's on the Elliott-owned team. Ron Barfield started 21st, currently running in 2nd. This is only Barfield's 2nd ever super speedway start. His first was at Daytona when he finished 5th. And here's the 3rd place car, Mark Gibson. Bondivitz Ford Thunderbirds. Bondivitz, a sports restaurant here in the Atlanta area. And on Mark Gibson, how about it, Kyle Petty?
I like it when you guys send me down to Mark Gibson's pits, and I like it when he runs up front, because when he runs up front, he's one of the few teams with a space heater. And I'm down here staying warm in the only place. I got these big toolboxes. I'm hid behind that big toolbox in between this and got the space heater. I'm standing here with all these other people. They're not doing anything on the pit crew either. They're just standing here trying to stay warm like everybody else. So, Mark, if you can hear me out there, stay up there in the top 5, because ESPN keeps me right here so I can be warm, man.
That's what I'd have done. Good choice.
Kyle learned this business pretty quick, didn't he?
Doesn't take Kyle long to catch on, I'll tell you that.
Kyle is a veteran pit reporter. I'll tell you, no matter where Mark runs, you stay by that space heater.
We're getting down to it, about 35 more miles.
Yeah, Tim Steele is pulling away, and now Gibson has his car going better again, and he's gaining on Barfield, and Bob Hill is right there. The red number 46 with those yellow numbers or whatever. Anyway, he is staying right with Mark Gibson.
Larry Clement owns the car, the 46 car out of Fort Dodge, Iowa. Clement Mack. One of his dealerships up there.
Pretty good omen if you can pick up a victory here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Over the years, you watch Bob Hill now make a move on Mark Gibson. This car that, remember we told you that the last time we saw Bob Hill, he tore up his race car. Well, this is a different race car than what he had at Daytona, obviously. Take a look. ARCA and Winston Cup from Atlanta's Victory Lane. Pretty good names there. Davey Allison, Michael Waltrip, Ernie Irvin, Dick Trickle, Loy Allen, and Mike Wallace. So certainly Tim Steele would like to be able to win and maybe join that elite group that have been very successful on the senior circuit.
That race that Ernie Irvin won here, whatever year it was, in that 2 car, the car owned by D.K. Ulrich. I mean, that was an outstanding run that Ernie Irvin had that day.
I think it was that run that impressed a lot of people in the pickup trucks and watching this knife through traffic and be able just to go to that was 1989, by the way, that Ernie Irvin won here.
So there's Tim Steele pulling away. Now, Jerry, are we going to see the usual victory lane celebration from Tim Steele? Is he going to jump out and get up on the hood of the car and yes, and jump?
Well, I would imagine he's going to fall out of the car and double over and grab his left side, but if that kidney stone really grabs him. But then again, victories is pretty good medicine for a race car driver. So we just got laps are winding down. 19 to go after 103 are complete here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Tim Steele is our leader. Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway at Hampton, Georgia. If you're wondering what we're talking about, Tim Steele doubling over in pain if he goes to victory lane. If you just joined us, Tim Steele spent 6 days in a Grand Rapids, Michigan hospital a week and a half ago and still has a kidney stone lodged in his left kidney. And he's trying to hang on and get a victory here and then get back, get that kidney stone taken care of. But they're battling all over the racetrack.
Well, Bob Hill has passed Ron Barfield for the 2nd position. Now Barfield has Gibson right on his bumper. Those 3 have been battling for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th positions.
And Bill Weber has something on Hill. What's going on there, Bill Weber?
Well, but it's just that car used to be owned by A.G. Dillard, and it was Illumina. Ran a couple of races, but never really a super speedway race. So the guy, Joe Lax, the crew chief, and his guys got that car from A.G. Dillard. They put a Monte Carlo body on it and sat around and brought it down here and used pretty much the same setup they had on a different car from last fall. Now, he was running 2nd here in the fall ARCA race when he got tangled up in an incident late in the race, still managed to come home finishing 4th. They said, what are the keys to their success today? They picked lucky pit stall number 7. Right now, everything's working for them. Just got one more guy to see if they can rope in.
Bob Hill finished 4th here in 93 as well as in 95. Has 2 4th place finishes. This would be his best finish ever in Atlanta if he can hang on and finish 2nd today.
I would see the black and yellow car was Kelly Denton that ran so well early on and spun coming off turn 4. We see him going down 2 or 3 laps down now. Mark Gibson just cannot get the position that he needs to get by Barfield.
The battle on the racetrack is the 21 car and the 26 car, and that is for 5th position. And the 66 is there. Bobby Boucher. Mark Thompson is a 66. Boucher is a 21. Blaze Alexander, the 26 cars, are riding along with Mark Thompson. The Phoenix Air Midway Island roof cam on his Ford Thunderbird, the Mike Grant prepared car.
And here's Gibson making a run on Barfield coming off of turn 4. They get awfully close.
Well, they did get close, didn't they?
Right again down in turn 1. Coming up on some traffic.
And he takes a spot away. I see Jeff McClure in the 50 car. Not running as well as he normally runs today.
And as Ned mentioned on the restart, Mark Gibson's car did not come up to speed like he had thought. Either his tires needed some time to get some heat in them, but now once he gets some laps on his tires, the car begins to run much better.
He's totally out of sight of Tim Steele. Tim has pulled away to a good lead. And now Gibson will set his sights on Bob Hill for 2nd place.
That's about all he can realistically hope to get, Ned, would beat up to 2nd place because something's got to happen to Tim Steele if anyone is going to catch him today. And there comes the race for 2nd place. There's Dill Whittemore, who ran so well, and looks like his car is slowing as he going in. And deadly smoke coming up from the car, so it looks like a blown engine for Whittemore.
2nd race in a row problem for Whittemore. Here's the battle for 21 and 26. And 66 Mark Thompson as those cars are battling 5th, 6th, and 7th. Laps are winding down. 11 laps to go. It'll be 10 this time by.
Tim Steele just took the signal from our flagman. 10 laps to go.
Bill Whittemore has brought his car to pit road. Last year's Coal Rookie of the Year and winner of the HG Adcock Sportsmanship Award in ARCA competition. Was involved in an accident in Daytona. Now apparently has an engine problem here. Will have a tough time finishing as you're riding along with Mark Thompson. That's a third car on your screen to the right side. The black and white Nürburgring car number 66.
Then we got to talk to Thompson, see about going over to Midway Island. Wonder how far it is from here.
I don't know.
That's a good question.
He said they're going to run a charter service, I think, out of Hawaii. He said the fishing is actually incredible. So because it's been a government island, they haven't allowed anyone to fish there for so long. They said it's absolutely phenomenal.
They got sun there. I've been cold long enough. That's all I'm looking for is some sun.
Well, we got sun here today, but it's still cold. You won't warm, so that's right.
And best battle on the racetrack right now, Blaze Alexander.
Trying to catch Bobby Bowser or stay in front of Mark Thompson. Take your pick. Whichever you think he is trying to do, that's what he's doing. He's doing a pretty good job staying in front of Mark. He's doing a pretty lousy job in catching Bowser.
And they're catching the 94 car of Ron Barfield. Barfield running your fourth place. There's the leader.
And here's the interval back to the second place car, the 46 car of Bob Hill. And there comes Bob Hill. Larry Clement on Chevrolet Monte Carlo. And that's third place behind Bob Hill. That is the effort of Mark Gibson and Ford Thunderbird.
And we're going to have a four-way battle for fourth place here in a moment. It was a three-way battle for fifth, but now Bowser, who is in fifth, is moving right up on Ron Barfield.
There they are. Fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. And the dreaded traffic in front of them.
That's not traffic, guys. That's the fourth place car up there.
I was talking about Hill.
Oh, I got you. I got you. Well, he's about to be traffic because they are catching Barfield in a hurry. Just out on the left side of your screen, there's the end of Barfield. Riding along with Mark Thompson.
Yeah, they went by the traffic without any problem whatsoever.
Five laps to go. Four this time for the leader. You're watching the battle now. Fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. Those four cars on the screen are for position with less than 5 to go here at Atlanta.
Two of these drivers, fairly young drivers. Barfield is probably around 25 years old, and Blaze Alexander not much more than 21, is he, Jerry?
Blaze is 19 years old.
19 years old.
Out of Montoursville, Pennsylvania, former go-kart and micro sprint driver. His second full year in ARCA competition. Run fourth here last year. Remember, had that miscue in the pits. Finished 8th. Even with the fact that he dropped half of the pit equipment down, still finished in the top 10. That's talking about the young man driving the car number 26, the Lisa Express sponsored car. Now here's Thompson moving in on Bowser.
And this is the best battle on the racetrack. First, second, and third right now is not being contested. There's a battle for the lead. They're a lap down, but they're battling for position, and that's a battle for 8th spot. And there's a leader driving into the picture. That's Tim Steele in the red number 16.
And here's Tim Steele takes the signal with 2 laps to go here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Here is the battle, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
They caught Ron Barfield pretty quickly, but they haven't been able to do anything with him since they pulled up on him. It's time now, guys. If he's got anything left, you better go at him. Whichever position you're in.
Mark Thompson had looked on the inside of Bobby Bowser, but he was not able to make a pass. Moves the car sideways as he comes off the corner and loses a couple of car lengths.
White flag for the leader. Final lap for Tim Steele, but you're watching the best battle on the racetrack. 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. The 94 is Barfield. Behind him, the 21, a 2-time series champion.
There's the leader, Tim Steele, going by Kelly Denton. It's almost fitting then that he's passed Kelly Denton on the last lap.
Well, we needed to see Kelly one more time. He's still out there, but tough break for him.
Here comes Steele off turn 4, and he will win for the second time in a row here in Atlanta.
Back-to-back for him.
And Tim Steele becomes the first driver to win back-to-back ARCA races in Atlanta history. Battle of the line here, 4th, 5th, 6th, and Barfield will finish 4th with Bowser in 5th. Let's go down to Kyle Petty with Tom Sokolowski.
Yeah, I'm here with Tom. You guys, everything worked flawless all day. The only thing was Tim was a little bit sick. How was he feeling towards the end?
He was real sore at the end from bouncing around in the car, but he hung in there and finished it up for us. Got another win.
You guys come to Super Speedways, you just seem to dominate like today. It seemed like you played with him for a little while. All of a sudden, when he got tired, he just drove off from him.
Yeah, he does that. He wanted to get this over with. The kidney stones were bothering him. He went a little bit faster than he normally was running during the day.
Well, congratulations, man. Let me tell you, they were definitely wanting to get this thing over with. They run over to the pit box, and after the race was over with, took his jacket and his pain pills to Victory Lane. So he's coming in. He's looking for some relief from somebody.
You think you guys had a bad job? How about Gary Bradbury, who stood there all day long waiting to get in this race car in the cold and never got to run a lap? We'll come back and talk to the winner after this. Our Speed World coverage of the APCO EasyCare 300 has been brought to you by the more than 1,250 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. By TM8 engine treatment from Valvoline, because driving is more stop than go. And by Splitfire, into the performance zone with Splitfire Performance V spark plugs. Let's go down to Victory Lane, where Bill Weber is standing by with our winner, Tim Steele. Here's Bill.
Well, we weren't quite expecting that. First of all, congratulations. How do you feel?
You know, I got to dedicate this win to Casey Elliott, you know, and the whole Elliott family. You know, they've been through some tough things lately, and you know, Ernie Elliott, hasn't given up. He gave me one heck of a motor here today, and you know, I can't say enough for Ford, the HSI Simlink team. It's just great. You know, I was wanting to get this race over. I've had kidney stones for a while and started acting up just before the race. And if it wouldn't have been such a good car, it would have been real easy to pull in.
Did you call in one time, tell your crew you were thinking about it?
Yeah, at the beginning of the race, you know, it was bad. It was hard to concentrate on things. You know, it's just hard when you got this good of a car. This thing was awesome today. It's been awesome here the past 2 times, won here 2 times in a row. It feels good. I wish you can enjoy this a little more.
I wish the same for you. Kelly Denton chased you down at one point, Tim, in the 86 car.
Yeah, I was, I radioed the guys and says, who is that in that 86 car? You know, I never heard of him. He had one heck of a good run going, you know. I don't know what happened there. It's too bad for him, but he was doing a good job. And I think Ernie's car finished second, so Elliott's motors were first and second. You know, the guys up there done one heck of a job for us.
Feel good to get back to Victory Lane?
Oh, feels great. I just wish we could have got that 4 in a row at Daytona, but we're back at Atlanta, and it's 2 in a row here.
Okay, well, avoid those potholes on the way home, okay?
Yeah, I think this car is going to shake them out of me. I think it did.
Tim Steele victorious here in Atlanta.
Well, guys, Tim Steele, kidney stone and all, takes a win in Atlanta. 7 cars finished on the lead lap.
And we see still Bobby Hill. That was not Ernie's other car, but Bob Hill finished in second. Mark Gibson was third. Barfield and Bobby Bowser round out the top 5.
And, of course, in 6th and 7th, the Thompson car, they're finishing on the lead lap. And the car number 26, of course, of Blaze Alexander.
Andy Hillenberg, the defending series champion, finished 22nd. Shane Doles had trouble early on with a broken axle and finished back in 23rd spot. 33 cars started. We saw, of course, Glenn Brewer, former Rookie of the Year, had trouble with the car not starting at the very beginning. He was on pit road when the green flag came out. Let's go down and check in with Kyle Petty, who's caught up with our 6th place finisher.
Well, thanks, Jerry. I'm here with Mark Thompson. You hung in there all day long. You ended up 6th. Was it the day? I know, unless you win a race like this, it's not the day you want, but it worked pretty good for you.
Yeah, we started out pushing, ended up loose. I guess being out here on pit road, you call this a pretty cool race?
Yeah, this was definitely a cool race. You guys were in the warm seat. When it got down the last 15 or 20 laps, you guys had the best race on the racetrack, racing for 4th, 5th, 6th position right in there. Did it get hairy any?
If I had just been a little bit less loose, I'd been all right. I just couldn't get a run off the corner. I was too loose, and you know, I could get under him going into the corner, but I just couldn't get off.
Well, that's it from Mark Thompson. Now let's go to who? Bill Weber. Sorry about that.
What do you mean, who? That's what I'll be saying on Sunday. Hey, meet Kelly Denton. What a great race for you today, until a certain point.
Yeah, we was doing real good. I thought, you know, we may have had something for Tim Steele, and the car just got real loose coming up off the corner. I don't really know what happened. I know I looked up and I was backing into the wall.
Well, let's start before you did that. Obviously, you did have a good car, and you did have something for him today because you chased him down.
Yeah, I want to thank my brother Ron Denton for setting that car up, man. He put a heck of a setup in that car, and the car was good all day. And you know, like I said, I think we could have been winners, but well, it's on our second time, so maybe we'll come around.
Now tell us what happened, because it looked like you slowed before you went around down here in 4.
Yeah, I think I had a tire going down. You know, this is only my second time on these radials, and I didn't really know how to fill a flat on these radials because I'm used to running these bi-supply tires. And, you know, I noticed the car kept getting a little loose, and I started backing up a little bit, you know, trying to ease off. And then I think maybe the Gibson car was behind me, and he got up real close, I guess. I don't know. He may have pulled air off of me. I may have just lost it. I don't know.
Yeah, well, Tim Steele had to radio in and ask, who's in that car? He didn't know.
Yeah, we definitely, I think, turned some heads this week. I've been trying to get a point across that we got a good race team. It's not been working, so it's the only way to do it, you know. I just hate it turned out like it did.
Okay, remember that face. That's Kelly Denton. Surprised a lot of people here in Atlanta today.
Hey, Bill, I'm here with Ron Barfield. You drove a great race. You got up under people going in turn 1 down on the flat where nobody else was running. You were running your own little groove there, but you would come up off the corner good over in 2.
Well, you know, Bill was up on top of the truck telling me I needed to get up, getting into 1 to keep the momentum going. But, you know, I tried to stay out of trouble and have 4 wheels touching the ground at the end of the race. And, you know, I really want to thank New Holland Tractors for coming on board with us this year in a couple of ARCA races. And, you know, really look forward to working with them the rest of the year. And also Bill Elliott and Charles Hardy, I want to thank them for putting me in this car.
When you say Bill was trying to help you and get you up off the apron, which Bill are we talking about?
Elliott. Elliott was up on top of the truck sitting there saying, you need to get up and get into 1. And, I mean, you know, first time here, I had to use the race to get used to the racetrack. Because we got a little bit of practice yesterday, but, heck, it was out there wet. And, you know, like, again, I want to thank Bill and Charles Hardy for putting me in this thing and New Holland for coming on board for this year.
Well, when you don't have a lot of experience here and a lot of track time here, somebody like Bill Elliott telling you how to get around a racetrack is a definite help.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Weber?
Thank you, Kyle Petty. Here's Bob Hill, came home second in a rocket ship today. He had a good run going.
Yeah, it was a good run for us, especially after the last race at Daytona. We're going to be happy to push it in the trailer, that's for sure.
Yeah, you couldn't do that at Daytona. A wild experience for you.
Yeah, it was. And, you know, you think about that a lot when you come into the next race, and hopefully I can put that deal behind me. And it was a good run for us today. Timmy was pretty fast. We were catching him at the end, but it was just, he was too far gone.
You guys always put on a good show at this track, the ARCA cars. Fast cars on a fast track.
Oh, this is a neat racetrack. I really like it here, and you can really roll, and you know, it's easy to put on a good show here.
Second, not too bad.
Not bad. It's our best super speedway finish, so.
And your car's in one piece.
It's in one piece.
Okay, that's Bob Hill. Now over here, Bobby Bowser, the 2-time champion, who came home 5th today. How was your day?
Great, absolutely fantastic. I mean, we didn't win the race, but I feel like we did because it's the best that I ever run here at Atlanta, and Atlanta's not been good to me, and it was a good day all around. You know, we led the race and run in the top 5 most of the day and come home 5th, and it's one piece. Our famous saying is, well, we get to go to the gas pumps, but today was our day, and I'm real happy.
You told me yesterday you really wanted to try and turn your luck around here at Atlanta.
Yeah, it's really been terrible here, but, you know, like I said, we led the race some, and we wound up 5th, and really I feel that we had a real good day, and now we can go to Salem and Talladega and see what we can do.
You guys put on a pretty good battle there down the last few laps, the 3 of you.
Yeah, it seemed like we was a little slow getting on the restarts the first few laps, and then until we got a little bit of heat in the tires, but after that, boy, our car was good, and, you know, it just wasn't quite good enough, but we're going to, you know, when you run like this, a lot of times you're bound to win one of them.
Okay, that's Bobby Bowser. Now let's go back over to King Richard's boy.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, I'm here with Mark Gibson. You guys run a great race. It looked like you could make a run on Steele. You got him on a long run. You'd catch him. But then that last set of tires, I don't know, they just didn't come in, or what happened?
It was real loose on that last set. We put a little air pressure in the right rear. It was tight all day early, so we put a little air pressure in the right rear, and I guess the tires were a loose set to start with, and the air pressure didn't help. But we started coming on about 30 laps in, it'd start coming, and we could run him back down, but we just ran out of time. But I tell you what, the Spondivits Dangerous Goods Management Ford ran great. I'm just so happy to run third here. Been a long time.
Anytime you can come out of a race and learn something like you're talking about. I mean, you made some adjustments, things got a little bit better. You come here, you got a whole car. You get to go to the next racetrack. You don't have to worry about putting this thing back together. You got to feel good about the season.
Oh, we definitely do. Atlanta's a tough racetrack. Usually a lot of spins, and it's hard to get around. It's so narrow. So, we got a good race car. We got another one at the shop. So, we're looking forward to the season. We're running for the championship. Billy and everybody at LC Smith, they put the money in the cars behind me. My brother's over at crew chief from Elliott's. He's over here. He's full-time on the team. I'm excited. As excited as I've been in a long time about racing. I'm just happy to be here.
I tell you what, these brother teams are tough, guys, and they're going to be around for a while. Back up to you guys.
What a great race today, great ARCA racing. Coming up next, another one from Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Busch Grand National Series Busch Light 300. Then on Tuesday on ESPN Classic, we're going to do it all over again. 8 p.m. Eastern Time, the APCO EasyCare 300, followed by the Busch Light 300 at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Once again, 27-year-old Tim Steele, 1990 Series champion, comes from 11th spot to pick up his 4th win in 5 ARCA events. So long, everyone, from Atlanta Motor Speedway.